guys, it's Heidi here. I've got my apron on and I know you guys like to see me, so here I am. I wanted to come in and say hello and tell you that I'm going to do a cook with me video a little bit differently today. I'm going to be making something for the first time. A lot of you guys, I'm going to switch hands. A lot of y'all that is connected to me on Facebook replied to a recent comment that I left where I was trying to find some half pint wide mouth mason jars. And so I had looked and looked and looked for these mason jars and I finally found them. So thank you for your input because you guys are really helpful. So thank you very much. I'm wanting to make these mini pies in these mason jars for Thanksgiving because I think they'd be really cute and festive and be something different. And so this is the first time I've ever made them in mason jars. I've actually done mini pies like in muffin pans and things like that. But I think I really like the idea that I'm not going to have to serve it. It's already going to be in its own little container and all they have to do is get a fork or spoon and help themselves. So today, I don't know, I made up my pie dough last night and you guys will see that video. And now that my pie dough is made, I am going to roll it out and start beginning to make my pies up. Now, I've never done this before. It says 2 pre-made pie shells, like pie pastry that you buy. But I made my own pie dough to save money on this whole thing. Plus I had pie filling that I had already recently made. If you guys have not seen that apple pie filling recipe, I'll leave it down below so you guys can catch it. So if I want to see if this amount of pie dough that I have will make 5. If it doesn't make 5 this round, then I'll know about how much more extra I'm gonna have to make for Thanksgiving. So that's another reason why I wanted to do this. It also says 2 cans of pie filling and I only just thawed 1, which is about 2.5 cups of pie filling. So we'll see how this goes. I thought I'd take you guys along in my journey. Dealing with pie crust is probably my most hated thing to do. Out of all the baking and stuff I do, I think it is my most hated. So I will put the exact measurements and everything down below from the original recipe that I have, but let's see if you guys can follow along with me and see how well I do on these pies. They look really good, they look really simple, and they look like they'll be really tasty, and you can use any pie filling that you want, cherry, blueberry, blackberry, and I thought I might do a combination of cherry and apple for Thanksgiving. And at first I was going to do blackberry and then I kind of talked myself out of that, but I think I'm going to do a combination of cherry and apple because a lot of people really like either or, so I thought I would go on the safe side. So I'm going to get started and take you along on my journey. Today I'm just going to be sharing with you my very simple pie dough recipe, and then tomorrow, and that's what makes this so great, I'm going to be making some mini mason jar pies out of this dough. And I wanted to share this recipe with you guys because you can make your pie dough ahead, and I'm making these mini pies for Thanksgiving, and I thought it would be a fantastic idea to make because you can make your dough ahead of time. You just get it out, roll it out. They're very simple to put together. I felt like they were not complex at all. You can make these up and then you don't even have to serve them. Everybody just grabs a little mason jar and their dessert is ready for them. So I'm going to quickly show you how to make my pie dough, and I have to act fast because let me tell you the trick to perfect pie dough, and if you guys have been watching me for some time, this is the one thing that I don't usually make because I don't like to make pie dough. I'm lazy, you guys, I'm lazy. But let me show you guys. You want some ice cold butter. This butter has been in my refrigerator. I just took it out. I cut it all up into cubes. I'm doubling my pie dough recipe, but I will put in the description box down below the exact measurements of everything for you all. You're going to need some ice cold water. I just took this out of the fridge. It's cold as well. I pre-measured my flour. This is just all-purpose flour. It was in the refrigerator as well, and I also have salt in that too, and I blended it together and I just stuck it in my refrigerator. Early this morning I stuck my half a cup of vegetable shortening in the fridge. Everything ice cold. That's what makes for flakiness, and you don't want to have to work this with your hands too much because your butter will get soft and melt through the dough, and you won't have those little pieces of buttery goodness through your dough like you would want. You know, when you have pie dough, you like flaky pie dough, and that's what you would want. Okay, so I'm going to start with just adding in my butter. I should also mention that I've refrigerated my KitchenAid mixer bowl, so it's nice and cold. I'm going to add in the shortening. Hopefully I can get it out of the cup. Oh my goodness. I can get it out with a regular spoon. I'm just using a spatula because it's easiest, I think, for me anyways. Here we go. And then we want to add in our flour and our salt, which has been blended together. And then we want to go ahead and turn this mixer on. And then what it's going to be about, for one pie dough, it's about 3 to 5 tablespoons of really cold water. So I just put 1 tablespoon in at a time until it forms a dough ball, and then you know that you are where you need to be. Everywhere. Sometimes it does. You go ahead and drop in ice water. That was 3. See, it's starting to get really crumbly in there, and that looks really, really good when it gets to be that consistency. Man, it's really jumping around, isn't it? See, it's starting to come together. That looks perfect right there. And see how it's pulled away from the sides of the bowl? You know you got a good dough. All right, now I'm gonna take this off of here. And you wanna act fast because you don't want this stuff to melt. Especially because you're going to have to knead it just a little tiny bit. You want all that buttery goodness in there. That's what makes your pie flaky. Okay, I'm going to move all of this stuff, and I'm going to show you what is next. Hey, let's get this dough going. So I've got some flour here, and all I want to do is just flour my surface just a little bit. This is just to keep it from sticking. And I'm going to get all of that pie dough out of here. And I don't want to work it too much with my hands because I don't want that butter to melt. I want that flakiness in this. So, sorry about reaching in front. Here we go. Now, all you want to do is you want to bring all of this gorgeous dough together into a ball. And I want to tell you, you cannot roll this out into a pie dough because this gluten needs time to rest. It'll just all crumble and it won't do its thing. So now that I got this in a perfect round ball, all I'm going to do at this point is cover it with some plastic wrap. And I've got some here. just like so. And I'm just gonna cover it with the plastic wrap. And I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator, and this will be good for tomorrow when I make my pies. So I will see you then. Okay guys, let's get this started. So the first thing I want to show you is what the actual mason jar looks like. This is what the mason jar looks like. They're very they're wide in the opening, but they are, you know what I mean, they're slimmer. I guess they're short. But anyways, they're going to be little pies, and I think this is more than enough for one person. So I thought this would be really a neat idea. So the first thing you want to do is unscrew the top of your mason jar. And you're not going to actually need this part. So I'm going to put that aside. And let's see here. You're also going to need a little cookie cutter. In my actual recipe, it calls for a star, and I just so happen to have a little star, so I got lucky on that. And this is my pie dough. Can you guys see my little rose in the corner over there? I think you guys can see it. This is actually off my rose bush. Lucas picked it today. We're not going to have much more of those roses when the cold weather officially makes its way here to where we live, but I'm enjoying that. It's so pretty. I love it. So I think what I want to do is I think I'm going to half this. I need to get a knife and start with half of it to roll out, because technically this is 2 pies, like a regular size pie. So I think that I'm going to start with half, like half for the bottoms and then half for the tops. So hopefully that works out okay. I need to get some flour. Okay, here we go. We're back in business. I had to get my charger, I had to find the flour, and we're back in business. So, I've got some flour here, and I've got my dough, and I just want to kind of get it started a little bit, because we don't want it to stick. And you usually don't have to flour too much. Now this pie dough for the recipe, I'll link that down below as well. And you need to let it rest in the refrigerator right after you make it, so that the gluten has a time to kind of do its thing, or otherwise it's not going to be easy to roll out. You're going to have a situation with it. So, and see, it's sticking, and I need some more flour. So I'm going to try to get at least 5 pies, because there's 5 of us in my family. So I'm going to try to do at least 5. And in the original recipe, when you use the pre-made pie dough, they just cut it in squares and put it in the bottom. But I'm just going to use how they cut the top for the inside. That's what I'm going to do. So let's see what we can get out of this. And let's see how that fits. We got our first little pie here. And that covers the bottom. I don't know if it needs to be a little bit bigger than that or not, but I think I'm just going to leave it that way. Let me get some more of these jars. I'm going to put the dough in the bottom, just like that. Two. I should have taken these lids off of these things before I got started, I think. And if I come back later and I feel like the dough needs to be bigger, I'll make it bigger the next time around when I make it. This is a trial run, guys. So here is my pie dough. I had to thaw it in the microwave. So let's get one of these jars and see what we get here. If we don't even get 5 out of this pie filling, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I think it'll be just fine. And I can use the pie dough for something else another day. Pie dough keeps. You can freeze it. You can make it way in advance. So that's what's awesome about making your own pie dough. But I just don't like to make it. It's messy for one thing, and second of all, if you do not keep your butter and everything ice cold when you make your pie dough, it does not do well. I think I'm just going to disperse what I have here between the 5 pies. I think that's about all I'm going to have enough for. The directions say is you take your little circle and then you cut out a couple of these stars in the top like so. And take these out. And then you take your pie and I don't know, am I be able to do this? There's a fly in here driving me crazy. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to cut this again. It's not thick enough. Let's do this again. You guys are seeing real life cooking. It just was too thin. You know, when I went to cut it, there's nothing there to put over the actual lid. So I want to not make this too thin. And remember, I got a whole nother thing of pie dough, so we'll get these covered nice. And you also want to do egg wash, and it says to do a sprinkle of coarse sugar. So I think this might be a better size here in thickness. So let's try this. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this one as well. And so let's see if this does better. I think it will. And I may just do 1 star. I don't know. Let me see. Just make it a little tiny bigger with my rolling pin. Might help it a little bit. Alright. Let's try this. Alright, there's my little stars. I'm going to just take them and move them aside. And it says to lay this on top, and then you're supposed to take a fork and go around the edges, which I will. I just want to make sure that I've got plenty of dough here to work with. There we go. I'm going to try to find a fork. I wonder if I could use a big one instead of using a typical small one. For just difference. You gotta be careful with your stars and try to cut them more in the center like of the pie. But that looks pretty good, and then we need some egg wash. So I'm gonna get a bowl. I'm back, I got my egg wash. If you don't know what egg wash is, it's just 1 beaten egg with a little bit of water, and that's it. So it says to egg wash the top of your pie. This is so that it'll get nice and brown. And then it says to use a little egg wash on the back of your stars to adhere your stars to the crust for design so that they're pretty. So we're doing that. There we go. That looks cute enough. Now I've made 5 pies, and all 5 pies took one of my pie crust recipes. So one recipe made 5 little pies, so I had enough. Unless I decide that the bottoms of the pie need to be bigger, or if I need to make any changes after I bake them. That's why it is always good not to make anything brand new for you know, when you're gonna have company and stuff, because if you do and you're not real sure if it's gonna work out, you don't want it messing up on the day that you're going to make the pies or make whatever it is. Hey, I just took my pies out of the oven, and this is what they look like. Now you can see they overflowed a bit, which is kind of normal for a pie. I mean, I personally have not had a pie, even a giant pie that I've made, not overflow or bubble a little bit and seep over. A couple things I can tell you that I've noticed real fast was once they started cooking, the centers of my pies started going down a little bit. I also think that it may be wise to make the underneath crust just a little bit bigger, and maybe even cut the tops just a tad bit larger, because as the pie cooked, it kind of sunk down, and you notice how it pulled away from the sides a little bit. I don't think I want pies that look like that, but this one came out really pretty. And you can see I put 2 holes in these, and this I only put 1. Now, in the original recipe, it says to put 2 tiny star or cutouts in the top. And I was going to say, if you all have a Hobby Lobby near you, they carry a variety of the little mini cutters. So you might be able to find a pumpkin if you want to do a pumpkin, if you want to do this recipe along with me. So, you know, you need to make sure that you have a substantial bottom and that it's filled pretty nicely and that a substantial top. And I may need to seal it more than using just a little crimp like that I did for the design. I may actually need to make sure that it is crimped against that the side so that it doesn't sink in. But overall, smells really good. The crust came out pretty good. It could be a little bit browner, but I forgot to add my sugar to the tops of these. So I think all in all, this is a pretty good recipe, and I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving and putting these together. You always want to make a recipe in advance. Don't make Thanksgiving the first time you've ever made it, because you don't know how it all works. And you know, I've been making pie for a long time and doing desserts, and I still want a test run. So let me know if you guys have a way of making mason jar pies, or any suggestions or changes you think I should make. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so and hit that like button. I hope you all have a great day, and I will be talking to you guys again soon. Bye.